Hello, Leroy. Welcome to From the Stands. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
Got some questions for you here, which hopefully you haven't heard about 5,000 times each. So
I'm sure I haven't.
let's go there. So this one, it's a bit common, but who's the best player you've played with and against?
The best player I played with, I played with some good player. I'll put two.
Okay.
Liam Brady.
Okay.
I played with Liam Brady at West Ham,
Okay.
and he was 34. And then I played with Paul Ince when he was
Paul
18.
Ince, wow.
So I think those are the two best players I played with. Best players I played against is easy. It's Paul Gascoigne and Glenn Hoddle. They're the best two players.
Must have been a nightmare to come against. I mean,
Couldn't
not
get kicked.
particularly you because you were up front, but must be a nightmare for you.
Well, I said watch them because they played in midfield and they just used to keep the ball from us, but they were just incredible, just world class.
Yeah. Okay. So you played for 7 different clubs in your career.
Mm-hmm.
Which of the 7 made you feel most at home?
Fulham.
Okay.
There's two, Fulham and West Ham. Those two clubs made me feel.
Okay, so
most
2
at home.
London clubs.
Two London clubs, but for different reason. Fulham was my first club, and it's just a really nice family club, and I kept on going every time. They kept on wanting me. When somebody wants you, you just keep on going
the boyhood
back.
club, you always want to
And
associate with it.
just West Ham scored in my debut, and from then on, they just used to sing my name every time I played. So it was,
Do you still remember any of the chants you had back when you were there?
Well, the chant was easy because I was the only Leroy in the Football League, so it should be Leroy, Leroy.
Oh, okay.
But West Ham, they made a record. They put a record out.
Really?
They released a single called Leroy's Boots Are Made of Gold.
Really?
And it went into the charts. So
In the charts, wow.
Yeah, you can
Did
look
you
at
get
them.
any of the profits from that?
no, I don't think they sold that many, but they did put a record out.
Oh, fair enough. So your son Liam, manager of Hull, doing quite well. I think they're around 5th in the Championship.
That's right.
How high do you reckon he can reach in the managerial world?
Well, that's everything he wanted to do. I think he wanted to be a manager more than a player.
Yeah.
I think he's really talented. I'm biased, obviously, but it's sometimes it's a bit of luck as well, being the right time, the right place. But he wants to go. He wants to manage at the highest level. So I think he's got all the attributes to be successful. So I think he can go as far as he wants.
Very good start. I mean, Hull, they were in League One a few seasons ago now, competed to go back in the Premier League. So
yeah. It's only 5 games, but he took over when they were in relegation trouble last year and got them to mid-table. I think they've had 5 games this year, and as you said, they're 5th. But it's early days. But he's brought in about 12 players, and he's got a really defined way of playing, and he's an excellent coach, and I think he's a good manager.
Okay, last question. Of course, you are a leader of a racial campaign. So, do you think we are seeing less racism in football, or more with the likes of social media around? Because I've personally got a season ticket at Bristol City. I can't say I've heard any first-hand racism or anything like that.
No, I think we see less overt racism. When I talk about overt racism, I think people shouting out and screaming and saying like horrible things, because it is a crime to do that now, and people recognise that. But I think the more dangerous racism is the stuff that's under the surface. And when I talk about stuff under the surface, it's things that affect people's chances to be successful, in terms of jobs and working environments, and that's the racism. Just like if someone screams at you and says something horrible to you, it's easy to know where they're coming from. You can deal with that. But when someone treats you differently because of the way you look, and that is racism, and it affects you in a detrimental way, that's the more damaging sort of racism that we've got to deal with.
Okay, yeah. So do you think, like with social media as well, people are feeling more protected to say what they want as well? So
what do you mean, to say what they could say anything they
well,
want?
of course, you saw like after the Euros, you got the 3: Saka, Rashford, Sancho. Of course, Sancho hasn't fully recovered from it yet. Do you think if it wasn't for the social media element, they would have been more? You still saw a lot of praise from the courage to even step up, but do you think you would have seen less hate from, of course, the racial abuse?
Social media is just the vehicle.
Yeah.
It would have come out in some other way, because people hold these views.
Yeah.
So and what needs to be, and you know what? Sometimes I don't mind it coming out. It's horrible that it affects people in a really negative way. But when it comes out, you know where it is, and you can go and deal with it. And what was really good about that was the reaction of all the people after that. With
Everyone
Marcus
coming
Rashford,
together.
Exactly, saying, "Look, this is unacceptable."
Yeah.
So so sometimes to deal with stuff, it has to come out, and it's not nice. But when it's underground, it's under the surface for a long time. It comes out in even worse ways than on Twitter and social media. You know, people being attacked and people being hurt and people in some cases being murdered on the streets of London. So we've got to make sure we deal with it.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
No.
And thanks for answering the questions.
Thank you.